My name is George Babiak, and I'm the production manager of this theater, the 52nd Street Project, and I'm just here to tell you that the reason we are all here is that Doug was an important volunteer here for many years, not only as a composer and pianist and general musical genius, but also just for load-ins and hanging lights. In fact, this very theater was opened 3 years ago, and Doug helped us hang these lights that you see.
You know, saying, "Oh, I'm not a great pianist." Well, yeah, you are. You're not like every other pianist, but you're a great pianist because of what you can do with the piano. No, it's not like you're going to play Tchaikovsky's concerto, but so what? I don't want to hear that.
He had a real pinball machine in their family room, and I always wanted to play the pinball machine. That's all that really mattered to me, but Doug would not have any of that. He wanted me to come in his bedroom and listen to original cast albums.
Two of them rode into a small town, stopped at a cheese shop. Doug was disconcerted to find they sold only one kind of cheese. and it was very stinky. It was Doug's, Tina and Hornsby, Doug hated stinky cheese. It was Doug's bad luck that the only cheese they had was Gruyere. Incidentally, the name of the town they were in was Gruyere.
I was on hand, that's the story that you might know of, at Doug Nervik, where we were walking across the street and a cab stopped in the crosswalk. I, being a New Yorker, said, well, this is the way it goes. I went around the cab. Doug opened the door, slid into the car, slid across the seat, and an idea of the snack.
It seemed to me that he was always willfully ignoring his knowledge of my name, because I don't think, at least back at that time, he never called me anything other than hotshot.
I went to improv now, it's difficult to get a good improv piano player. I had Doug for a number of years, and he was a genius at piano, and that's what's in the documentary. But I realized how irreplaceable he was when I had auditions for piano players. And we do a thing in the jam called Can You Sing This?, where you have to make up a song based on the audience suggestion, and you have to make up in a style, a particular style. Well, we brought these piano players, potential piano players in, and they, I explained to them what the form was, and one guy played something in the style of Gershwin, and it was okay. And then another guy came up, and he'd just seen the guy doing the Gershwin, and then he said, what do you want me to do? I said, why don't you play something in the style of Rodgers and Hart, or Sondheim. And he said, do you want me to play a Sondheim song? I said, no, I want you to improvise something. And he said, well, what do you mean? And that was the problem with piano players. When Doug was there, you're always safe on the stage. He really made it easy to sing, even if you couldn't sing. Doug would always go your way. And if you didn't know the way to go, he'd lead you.
Next up, we'd like to bring up Carl KISSIN. Is he here? It's not here. All right. Can we bring up Jay Potter? Is he available? Oh, here he is. Come on in. This is for Pod. This is Pod. We're used to this. All right, Junior, here you go.
Hello. I don't know if Doug would have enjoyed that or been pissed off.
He's always happy and making people laugh. You name them, he would make them laugh. Customers, employees, the UPS man, and the list went on. At the time, I couldn't figure out why he was like that. Did he take a happy pill before he came to work each day? He doesn't even drink coffee. It was rather soon I figured out why he was like this. He liked life.
And no matter where I would perform, it was like he would get in my head. He knew me so well that before I would sing the song, he would play one note. I was somewhere recently at Bob Greenberg's Wonderful Actors Temple benefit, and I go, Doug, I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. This strange crowd, I don't know what I'm going to do. He goes, don't worry, I got it. And so I'm on stage, and I'm looking down at Doug, and he looks at me, and he plays one note. One note. He goes, ding. And I go, to all the men I loved before, who traveled in and out my door.
The client rented a van for us because we had to go from the hotel to the convention center. We're doing a corporate gig. And it was a very nice van, and it had a lovely AM, FM stereo radio in the front. And Doug was driving, and Joe and I were in the back. There was a second set of controls in the back. So Doug gets in and goes, oh, it's radio. And he finds a really nice song and all that. So of course Joe reaches over and changes the channel. Doug's like, what's wrong with this thing? I go, just fix that. And Joe again changes the channel. What is wrong with this thing? And of course, Joe couldn't let it go. Joe, what are you doing? That was a good song. It's not me, Joe.
Doug was showing me how to accept a credit card payment in the bike shop one day, which at the time he had to call the credit card company and talk to somebody on the phone. And there was a customer waiting to pay for something, and Doug was showing me how to punch some number in or slide the card thing or whatever, and the customer said something that I knew enough to let Doug get in trouble. This guy said, why don't you run your little school another time? I'm in a hurry. This is not long after I started working here, and all of a sudden Doug changed sort of before my eyes. I realized that I'd been wrong about him. He wasn't giving me a hard time, or if he was, it was fine, he was good-natured. And all of a sudden he was just my defender, and we were on the same team, and it all just turned around, and that's how it was from then on. Couldn't, obviously, no time for this guy, his tone of voice, and it seemed to me that he responded to this guy even more fiercely than he would have responded to anybody with that tone, because I was the object of this guy's impatience, and I really let him have it. And I realized that I should be learning from Doug rather than fearing him. And I did, from then on, I grew up there, and everybody has a place where they sort of spent a lot of time growing up, and they've learned a lot about being a grown-up. For me, that was the bike shop, and it started there, it started with Doug.
He always made time for me. How he did that, I don't know, given how many friends wanted to be with him, and how many circles he traveled in. He was smart, he was curious, he was ever in motion. We performed numerous corporate shows together. We bicycled together. We saw theater together. Doug encouraged me to buy a high-quality bike, and then it helped me choose and fit it. We ate meals together. We floated in pools across the world and flew on trapezes together. He got a Jewish person to sing Christmas carols. Because bringing good cheer to the men of the halfway houses and bringing friends together is religion at its best. And because it was Doug's party. It was always Doug's party, not just on Christmas. He was at the center playing the piano, surrounded by friends and singing. He was giving a tour, surrounded by tourists, listening. He was on stage, surrounded by audiences, laughing. And even at the end, he was surrounded by friends, some still singing, all of them hoping, wanting more time with him. Because, like me and like you, they loved him.
Every time you saw Doug, you knew things were going to be better. You knew you were going to be happier. I'm hearing this from the people at the bike shop, from everybody that he worked with. You knew that when Doug showed up, it was going to be okay. And something Carl was talking about, when we do shows, these industrial shows, the second you got there, the second you hit the ground, Doug was figuring out everything about that place. The intensity of experience for Doug, that's why New York City is perfect for Doug. Everywhere you look, there's a layer and another layer and another layer and another layer of meaning. Doug saw them all. He ate them all. He loved every little bit of it. And that's why he's a great improviser, too. Now, for instance, in First Amendment, one of the characters that he would do was Dick Cavett. Remember when he would do Dick Cavett? Well, the thing about it, it's not just that the voice was pitch perfect. It's not just that he sounded and looked and talked like Dick Cavett. But one night it occurred to me, you have to be really smart to do Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett knows a lot. I can't do Dick Cavett because I don't know what Dick Cavett knows. But Doug can take these characters and make them come alive, and you learn from them as though you were listening to Dick Cavett. You know, there's another side of Dick Cavett that maybe Dick Cavett didn't even know.
Also, learned the entire piano lesson from The Music Man, which, if you know, The Music Man is a song between Marion Peru and her mother, Mrs. Peru. Guess who Doug got to play? Yes, I was doing the old woman with the Irish brogue while Doug sang with Shirley Jones. So the film. That Monday, the day before Doug passed away, I ignored all the warnings that were on his Facebook page not to go visit him because I hadn't been there on the weekend, and apparently he had a very busy Sunday with tons of visitors. So I did go Monday, regardless of the warnings, and we had a moment alone after he had just been given morphine. Sorry, that's not the thing to do. And it was that quality time that I so wish I had not slipped by so often before. I had my phone with me, and I pulled it out, and I put it up to his ears, and I pressed play.
The suitcase followed me home. Aw, I never saw it before. Did he say anything?
I had to listen to it, so do you.
Did you say anything? Of course not, Mama. Now don't dawdle, Amaryllis. Oh, do, la, re, ti, me, a little slower, and please keep the fingers curved as nice and high as you possibly can. Don't get faster, dear. If you don't mind my saying so, it wouldn't have hurt you to have found out what the gentleman
Anyway, all I have to say is make your way up there, all you harps, because you have a mean accordion player to add to your merry band. I love you, Doug. Bye again for the 6th but not final time.
Here's something I'm asking all of us to do, and not for Doug, but because we've come to love Tina and value her. Each of us must keep her not merely in our thoughts, but in our lives.
But somehow, I am having trouble walking the talk now that he's gone. I'm sure if I can hear him now, he would say, "Listen, mister, you go and be happy." Doug, I will do my best. Thank you.
To paraphrase Marlene Dietrich in Touch of Evil, he was some kind of man.
It was real. He meant who he was. And there's children out here who, they didn't know him as their parents' friend. They knew him as their friend. Because he meant everything he said. How are you? No, really, how are you? How are you doing? And if you had good news, he really was happy. And if something was sad, he really was. He meant that. And that's a lot. That's a lot to lose. And I was just thinking, you know, we have to do something. We have to compensate in some way. That's tremendous loss of balance in our universe. And we all have to pick up our game a little. Because he across everything I just mentioned, his compassion, his honesty, his truth, his generosity, the charity, the things that he put out there. I know that you're all good people because you were Doug's friend. I can make that assumption very safely. Okay, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that everybody here is a good person. But I think we do have to lift it a little bit for him, and for us, really. He doesn't need us anymore. We need each other. And you know, if we do that, we will truly honor him. Not just with nice words, we'll truly honor him. And in a way, he'll always still be with us. And that's what I want. Thank you.
We lost him way too soon. I was hoping to get old with this guy and reminisce. We used to kid about as we'd get off we'd go out to dinner or something, we'd get off the chair and we'd get up and hey, Pops, you know. But we made fun of that, and I'm sorry that I can't experience that with him in the later years.
I was flipping channels a few days ago in the holiday season, and The Wizard of Oz came on, and the wizard was giving the various gifts to the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Lion, and he tells the Tin Man, and it's like, oh, there's Doug. He tells the Tin Man, a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. And if that's the case, Doug had quite a heart, and there was a lot of love, and I certainly love him.
I know Doug. I know Doug is here. I know he is here. And I also know that we don't love each other enough. Not all the time like we should all the time. And maybe it's too much effort to love each other all the time. I don't know, but Doug taught me that when you have life, you take it in both hands and you hug it and you make it part of you. That's what I just wanted to say about Doug, is that let's all remember him and love him and honor him by loving Tina, as was said earlier, and by loving each other more every single day.